What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ham and Spam Retro Review, the show where two lifelong friends replay the games from our childhood, see if they stand the test of time.
Check us out online at hamandspam.com, where you can find links to our social media, including Twitter, where it's at hamandspam1,
Instagram at Ham and Spam Games,
and search us on Facebook, Ham and Spam Retro Review,
and coming soon to YouTube.
eventually. Thanks for listening.
Hope you enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to the Ham and Spam Retro Review.
Yes.
And this is episode 27?
27. We're getting closer and closer to 30. Our original 30 that we wanted to review, just because we overthought it and decided we didn't. I don't know.
I don't think anyone can accuse us of overthinking anything.
Well, we kind of did overthink the first 30 from the standpoint of like, well, we don't want too many PlayStation games in a row. We don't want too many 64.
Yeah.
Guys coming up, 31 on, we don't care. Whatever we wanted to do, we're just going to do it.
We could have...
Although our last three have been PlayStation games prior to this one.
We could have 20 Super Nintendo games in a row.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But probably not.
No, we're going to try to keep it, I don't know, keep it a little random, I guess.
Anyway, it's also our last episode of our Halloween-themed October.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how everybody kind of liked it, because it's different. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how many years we can do this. There's only so many Halloween-themed games you can do. I don't know. There's like 20 Resident Evils. We're probably good.
Let's face it, this is probably our first and only October.
Probably. So for those of you who do not follow Ham and Spam on Instagram, this week's episode is
Luigi's Mansion.
So if you would follow us on Instagram, Hammy posts every week what our game's going to be.
It's also posted to Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, by and large, but it's because you posted on Instagram.
Yeah,
I just
originally.
link it. So,
last week.
Yeah, before we get into this week and before we get into what we've been doing this week, let's talk about last week.
So, if those of you who listened to last week's episode, which was Silent Hill, may have noticed that
there's a bit of a glitch.
Yeah, little Banjo-Kazooie music. The reason being is because the music in Silent Hill outside of the intro song is very not musical.
Not musical would be a good, yeah.
More just metal clanks and screeches and
industrial, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's great for the game. Works for the game.
Absolutely, especially in a scary setting or whatever. But also, and here we go, my new favorite term, full disclosure. When we record, Hammy has the recorder. Hammy will take the recorder and go back home and start mixing everything. Well, then he says, all right, Clint, I want to put this song, and this song in there. So I'll get on my handy dandy Mac and I will rip the music, however, whatever we're trying to find, and we will put it in a share file.
What are you talking about? We download that music legally.
Wait, hey, hold on for that one, because there's another thing with that. But so anyway, I take the music and I put it in a share file. Well, for some reason, the share file wasn't syncing. On my end, it said it was uploaded. On Hammy's end, it says it wasn't. We were getting close to the deadline, and Hammy said, forget it. I'm going to put Banjo-Kazooie in it. So that's literally what happened. So Monday, I was out of work because I had a lower back issue. Mm-hmm. So about 9 o'clock, I get a phone call from Caitlin. She says, before anybody else listens to this, do you know there's Banjo-Kazooie music in this week's episode? And I said, yeah, we know. It was on purpose because we couldn't get the the music to upload.
Well,
So
I don't think anyone's going to sit around and listen to the Silent Hill soundtrack.
Well,
unless there's something, really wrong with them.
Well, what I really wanted to do was, obviously we wanted to have the intro music in there.
It was good.
In between, because it was decent. But I had mentioned to you, and it worked out because we didn't have a break in between, the meat of the game and the end part of the show. I wanted the boss music in there because that music is just, it's like nails on a chalkboard, basically.
Yeah.
So
you're welcome for not putting that on there.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. So, but yeah, that's like the only two memorable ones. Like that one with the boss battle is just high shrills. It's like, that scene in Ace Ventura where Ace Ventura is trying to interrogate the guy, and he has the knife and the fork, and he's just rubbing it across the plate.
Yeah,
and just making a high squeal noises. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. That's what it sounds like. That's all I can picture where I'm watching that boss battle.
It sounds like that.
Yeah. So, we'll parlay that into my week real quick. I was out my back Monday. I don't know why. It's been sore all week. We're good now though, so that's good. Supposed to have the last week of football practice for our team, but we got rained out. Today is Saturday. We're recording on Saturday, so we got rained out. So that's going to prolong it for at least one more week. We'll see how it all goes. But sorry, Hammy, you have to work around my schedule for at least one more week.
Yeah, it's all right.
But that's about it. That's about it right now.
Well, you got a little message from YouTube.
Yeah. I figured you would go on your rant about that one. So go ahead and tell us about your week, though.
Well, it's uneventful.
Okay, well, there you go.
So there you go. I worked.
Uh-huh.
And that's about it.
So, did you get the notification from the email about our YouTube video being pulled down?
I don't ever check the hand spam email.
Well, I check it, and obviously I get notifications from it. So I saw it, and I got to looking into it, and I'm like, what in the world? So I sent you a screenshot of it. So then Hammy goes in a mini rant about YouTube and copyrighted music, and
the issue was episode 17, which was black.
So just because of the name, what do you automatically put in there?
Back in Black.
You put in Back in Black from AC/DC. Well, what do we have? A 30-second clip, a 45-second clip of Back in Black between our intro and our game review?
Something like that.
Somehow or another it got flagged. Well, I mean, it got flagged. I understand that it got flagged. I understand that it's copyrighted music, but we haven't made one single dime off of any of this.
This is all for free.
Right. I mean, what is this going to... What is it going to hurt for 45 seconds worth of music?
No clue.
So, which led to our other part, all these people that stream these games on YouTube or Twitch or Mixer or whatever, that's copyrighted music within the game, right? How is that a loophole?
Well, I think that game music, I think it's just held different standards, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
I mean, the game music wasn't flagged. It was just the AC/DC.
Well, it hasn't been flagged as of yet, anyway. So,
I'll be ticked off if it gets flagged.
Well, I actually mentioned to you about getting some sort of copyright bypass, whatever, so we could play the music. And you're like, no, we ain't doing that. No, I'm pretty sure that's very expensive, by the way.
Very.
So, anyway,
and by the way, Sony Music, you suck.
So,
I think they're just mad because we reviewed Black on Xbox.
Probably. Yeah. So if you go and look for episode 17 Black, it is still there. It's in the archives from the podcasting standpoint, but it has been removed from YouTube. So it's been banned. It's been completely deleted and removed. Okay, fine and dandy.
We're not going to fight it.
I mean, that was almost 15 episodes now.
Because I'm pretty sure I had like 0 views.
Well, 17 to 27, so 10 episodes ago. It's 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Anybody that's going to listen to that show is going to listen to it on podcast, not YouTube necessarily. But at the same time, it does kind of suck. Hey, it took you 10 weeks to find this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway.
Stupid programming.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, for some reason, this past week's episode, we've ran into it before where if we don't upload, let me see if I can make sure I say this correctly. We put everything into Podbean and we select it to upload at a certain time. Well, that time is 7 p.m. Central because that starts the tabulations for Monday, the new week, starts at 7:00 p.m. Central Time for us. So that's our cutoff date. And it has happened where we were watching, was it Hell in a Cell that night? Where we forgot to upload it. Like you had to run home and upload it for us right quick.
Was it Hell in a Cell?
I think it was Hell in a Cell. I might be wrong on that. It was a pay-per-view. You were watching wrestling and said, hey, we forgot to do this. And you're like, oh, crap. Yeah, we did. No, Hell in a Cell was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
what was the one before that?
I don't remember.
SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah, SummerSlam.
So anyway, you had to upload it, and I got it uploaded, a little bit afterwards. And you're still thinking it's SummerSlam.
Whatever it was.
Anyway, I alter the time, the automatic upload time, and I tell all that to say these episodes upload to YouTube that way. But if you don't catch it and let it auto upload, it doesn't upload. That week it did. Last week we had it posted, a good hour before the deadline, our own set deadline. Never posted. I don't know why. Maybe because we got flagged for black. I don't know. But anyway, so this week
the screen went dark. I can't see.
So this week, we're going to try to negate any kind of copyrighted music from one particular band.
Nah, man, I'm going to have a ton of Rolling Stones music on it.
Well, I mean, if we're banned from YouTube, I guess that's okay, at least until we get actual content up, not just podcast content.
Yeah, you could say we're controversial.
Very, very. Well, that could get our channel removed too, so we might not want to test that fate.
Yeah.
So anyway, anything else going on this week for you?
No, just played some Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, we had a good time. We played it last night.
We completely played through it.
Hey, everybody here will be very, very happy in knowing that we've always said you're either going to get really good, a really good playthrough from Ham and Spam, or you're going to get really good research from Ham and Spam. Well, by God, you got both today. And it's probably going to be the crappiest episode we've ever done.
Look, that was the third time I've beaten this game. That's the first time in probably 15 years I've beaten it.
Right. But
we got through it, 100%ed it.
Yep, 100%ed it. Everything that you could do. Now we did not do the New Game Plus, or well, it's not New Game Plus. I'm using Batman.
The
terms.
Hidden Mansion.
Hidden Mansion. That's what it is.
I did beat the Hidden Mansion originally,
15 years ago.
Yeah.
So a little bit of difference. Not a whole lot to really warrant us to have to play through it again. Especially at 1:00, literally Saturday morning when we got done.
But anyway, let's talk a little about the game. It was released in 2001.
You want a break here?
No.
Okay.
2001. It's a GameCube launch title.
Yes.
And GameCube, very underrated little system, I think.
Yeah. I growing up at that point, that's PlayStation 2 era, Xbox era. I was a PlayStation 2 guy at that time. Didn't see the whole wonderment of the GameCube.
It was powerful. It was great, but those mini discs really held it back.
I think it held it back, but at the same time, somehow or another, those things are like held way more than a standard disc would hold.
They were strong.
Yeah, and that thing hums when it's turning though, for real. Yeah, but this was a launch title, which obviously helped with the sales of the game because it came with the system, but kind of put a Luigi game, on the map. A lot of people were always clamoring for Luigi to have a game of his own that's not called Mario's Missing.
Just terrible.
So, those people kind of get happy. And this is the first quote unquote Mario game, Mario style anyway, since the 64. This is the one right after Mario 64 where Luigi was not in it.
I wonder why that is.
I no idea. Same reason Mario wasn't in this one, I guess, just to give him his own. But people were really excited for it because, hey, it's the new Mario game, Mario style game. Critically, people liked it. I think the biggest drawback that people did not like was the shortness of the game.
Well, and I said before we started, getting back into this game that I loved it.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. I'm a little more critical of it now.
Yeah, about 12:30 last night, Hammy did not love it anymore.
I was tired. I was frustrated, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Luigi's Mansion, very popular, extremely popular. It's got 2 sequels.
Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yeah, Dark Moon came out on 3DS, and there's also the remake of the original Luigi's Mansion on 3DS. But then this Thursday, Luigi's Mansion 3 launches for the Nintendo Switch.
And that's actually more of a coincidence than it is anything else. We didn't really plan on that. The only thing we planned on was October, Halloween, horror. That's going to be our theme. And then I think we later, as it got closer, we're like, hey, it's going to almost be on the release date. Let's, this game was supposed to be the second of the 4, so we've slid it back to the 4th.
It was always
coincide.
It was always gonna be one of our October games,
right? It's always going to be. We just flip flopped it in its place, which is good because maybe we can pull a few listeners that's maybe trying to Google Luigi's Mansion or Luigi's Mansion 3 and introduce them to the ham and spam experience.
Right. Well, I started, like I said, there was a remake for 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing this on the 3DS.
Right.
And I can't do the motion controls, man. So that's why I came over. We've got the GameCube version, which we played through and beat last night.
Right. We have the original version on the GameCube. Now, I, Clint, do not own a GameCube. Hammy does. But instead of him dragging all his stuff and bringing it over here, I have a Wii. And I've had this Wii. It was Casey's Wii. Casey got rid of it. I bought it from him. Baloney. Thank you. Bought it from him. And I've had this thing for, I don't know, 8 years. Ever since Maze was little. So
and you had no idea it had a GameCube.
I had
built
no
in.
idea that it had a GameCube built into it until you said, hey, yeah, this thing will play. And I'm like, how are you going to hook a controller up? You just walked over and said, flip there.
It's all 4 ports.
So yeah, it turns out Clint has a GameCube and has had one for the last 8 years or so.
Oh,
that's crazy.
This is our first GameCube game too, isn't it?
It is. So let's touch on that a little bit too. GameCube was the next system to come out after the 64.
Yeah.
Nintendo decided to go away from the cartridge style and go to the disc.
Finally.
Well,
because you'd already had PS1, and
right.
Nintendo kind of laughed it off. Like, nobody ever played a game on disc.
Well, they were actually going to go. It was going to be the Nintendo PlayStation back in the day, and they just, like you said, laughed it off. Like, okay, we don't need to do this. And that's when PlayStation said, hey, yeah, well, we're going to keep going then. They're like, yeah, y'all go ahead.
And they went.
And they're considered the number 1 system right now
in the world.
Yeah. So yeah, little backstory on that. One thing that I will say that I didn't enjoy about the GameCube, and I guess because we're spoiled with it now, is there's no internal memory. So earlier in the week, I started playing Luigi's Mansion on the Wii, which has no internal memory for a GameCube anyway. Got through the game a little ways. Of course, I'm brand new to it. I've never played it before, and I died. And instead of like, okay, going back to the, as you enter a room, you have to completely start the game over.
Yeah, you
again.
have to manually save it to the card.
Right.
Which I think the Xbox may have been the first to.
Yeah, because you could save. Yeah, because you couldn't save stuff to your PlayStation 2. You had to have a card.
Yeah.
Xbox, you could save like music and things like that to it. So it had
kids today will never know that struggle.
Oh gosh, no. That, and then and I know we've mentioned it before, but like with the PlayStation, you've got on the back of the memory card when you buy it, it says 16 blocks of memory. And you're like, well, what is that? Like,
what's a block?
And as the games got older on the PlayStation, it was like, this game requires 3 blocks of memory. Well, shoot, there's a quarter of your memory right there. So
this is outrageous.
So, but yeah, completely different time and era. So I played through it once and died. Got a little frustrated that I had to start all the way over, but since I kind of knew what I was getting into now, had another playthrough, got almost halfway through it, and then died again. I said, forget this. I'm going to wait till I have a memory card. So
I had to order one. It's like,
yeah.
Like $10 on Amazon because I've got 2 originals.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea where they're at.
Well, that's the only bad thing about reviewing these retro games sometimes is the fact that you have to kind of start pulling this stuff out.
Yeah.
That's
going to be the ham and spam memory card from now on.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I've got a story when we get to episode 30 that I'm going to... No. In 2 weeks, when we do our game in 2 weeks, I got a story to tell you about that. But anyway, so yeah, just for me to play on the Wii, I didn't have the Wii hooked up to begin with. I was like, I'll never play this thing. I'll just put it out for display. So I had just the Wii case, and had to find everything for it just to end up playing it. So yeah, the struggle on the front side was already there too. So
another thing about the GameCube, and I didn't realize this until yesterday, all GameCube consoles support stereoscopic 3D.
And that's crazy for that time frame.
It is. And it was planned for this game to have it. But Nintendo figured that since 3D TVs weren't, widespread at the time, it would be too cost prohibitive for the consumer.
Right. Newsflash, it never got off the ground anyway. I have one.
Yeah,
I have one because I
You still got it?
Yeah, it's the one on there. It's the one in there on the wall.
I remember watching a football game.
Yeah, the only reason why I got it is because ESPN had ESPN 3D, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch this game in 3D.
Was that the one where the Florida State kicker just completely eats it on the kickoff?
Yes,
but the game we watched in 3D.
That was one of them, and then the Auburn National Championship game against Oregon in 2010, because we got snowed in, so it was me and Alex stuck in the house. He crawled up on top of the house and knocked the stuff off the dish, so we could watch it, and we ended up watching that game in 3D here because he was stuck here for like 3 days because of the snow.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, it never really got off the ground. It's not really a feature everybody really cared about because, at least like with the 3DS, you don't necessarily have to have glasses to get the 3D rendering. Well, with the 3D TVs, you have to, whether it's the ones that require the batteries like I've got, or one that is just static, I guess.
Well, I can tell you this too. All the people I know have 3DS, keep it off.
Yeah, it'll
play
get you
in 2D.
a little bit.
But Luigi's Mansion could have been 3D capable, wasn't? But it also introduced a few new characters to the Mario universe. Professor Elvin Gadd, Egad, and King Boo, who I didn't realize this was his first game.
I didn't realize that either.
I always thought it was Big Boo, but Big Boo apparently is just a normal Boo that's big. King Boo's their leader.
He's the buffet eating Boo.
But he's been behind the scenes this whole time until now.
And it's funny too, because when you and I were talking about it, you said that he's the main protagonist against Luigi. Antagonist against Luigi.
Yeah, he's considered Luigi's arch nemesis, whereas Bowser is Mario's.
Right, and I got to thinking about that, and I was like, well, wouldn't it be Waluigi? But I was like, well, no, because Wario's not, the main guy going against Mario.
Nobody cares about Waluigi.
Including the people, including the people at Smash Brothers.
Yeah, including Nintendo. But the mansion's gone on to be featured in like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart games.
So yeah, I mean it was very popular.
It's a legit IP for Nintendo now.
Especially for a unit that didn't do great by Nintendo standards, in my book anyway. Because the one that was after this was the Wii, correct?
Yeah.
Well, the Wii sold like hotcakes because everybody wanted to move the stupid controller around for whatever reason.
Oh gosh, I hated the Wii.
I
love Nintendo, but I was not a Wii.
Well, see, you had the Nintendo, which was widely popular. Then you had the Super Nintendo, which was even more popular. And then the 64 come out, and it took a little while to get there, but it was very popular.
Yeah. And GameCube was popular. It's just it had legit competition at that time with the PS2 especially. And then the Xbox, which was new.
Which one came out first?
The chicken.
I figure you're going to go there. I want to say PlayStation 2 was the first one of that meal that came out.
May have been. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, for somebody to have such a backlog, not backlog, that's the wrong word, but for Nintendo to get, to be second out of the gate or third or whichever one it is, you would have figured that they would have seen some of this other stuff that these other people were doing and been able to like, okay, well, we can correct this and this and this and this.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't do that.
Nintendo does not do that.
I mean, look how long it was after Xbox One and PS4 and Switch came out, and they didn't follow them.
They didn't follow them, but how long was it before Nintendo actually had online gameplay?
It's funny because GameCube could have been online.
You told me it was capable.
It was.
I would have almost called you a liar, but because they never really utilized it.
I should have brought it over. It's like there's like compartments you open up, and it's got hookups for all this stuff to go online and everything. There may have been one or two games that you could go online with,
right?
And even now, Nintendo's online is terrible.
Yeah,
as far as playing with other people.
The rumor, and it's not a huge rumor, but the rumor has been that because of the console wars that's going on now that Nintendo's kind of, number 2 to Sony, even ahead of Xbox, which that's skewed numbers, not available in every market, that kind of stuff. I get that. But that Microsoft would eventually get out of the game console business and just do the live part of it and kind of partner with Nintendo, because right now they're kind of in bed together.
They're good. Yeah,
in
they're
good terms.
really buddy right now. I don't see Xbox getting out.
I don't see it either, but that is a rumor that I've heard that they're going to
sounds like something a PlayStation fanboy would make up.
Probably, and I'm not a PlayStation fanboy, so don't at me, bro.
Especially after Sony copyright striked us.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I burnt my PlayStations because of that. I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
So back to the game. 2001.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been what, on our senior year in high school when this game
it was
came
November
out.
of 2001. We were a couple of months into our senior year.
Yep, we were playing football.
You were.
I was.
I was in Kentucky at the FFA convention.
Yeah, I couldn't make it to that.
All right. Now for the game itself,
Mm-hmm.
which, like we said, we actually played through and beat.
Full blown, full disclosure. Played through it, beat it. It didn't take very long.
About 5 hours of gameplay.
About 5 hours, give or take. Now, we got a little turned around, and there was about an hour that you spent trying to catch that last couple of boos, which, a sensitive subject. I shouldn't have brought it up this early.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, about 5, because we did take a break. We went and got something to eat, and then came back and finished up. We're about halfway through when we went and got something to eat.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah.
So the game starts out.
Yep.
Luigi, you're walking through the woods with the crudest map ever. That's just a picture of woods and a house and an arrow pointing to the house.
And a maze. Like, it's literally like something you'd get, like the kids would get at a restaurant. It's like, here's a crayon, here's a map, try to find the mansion.
So he gets to the mansion. He's apparently won a mansion in a contest he didn't enter. He's not going to ask questions. Get a mansion.
No, you get a mansion. Go get it.
Yeah, and I can't remember if Mario had won the same contest, so to speak, or if Luigi had told him to meet him there.
I've heard it both ways.
Either way, Luigi's making his way towards the mansion, and he knows Mario is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to meet him there.
Right.
He gets this mansion. It's very scary looking.
Very dark.
Yeah, he's got his flashlight. He's creeped out the whole time.
Yes.
So we're kind of seeing a little difference in personality now from Mario and Luigi.
Right.
Mario's the brave plumber ninja, and Luigi is a little more skittish.
Yeah.
A little more introverted, I guess you could say.
A little timid.
But he loves his brother. He's on hang around with Big Brother.
Right.
And he goes in. Almost immediately is accosted by ghosts. And is saved by Professor Egad.
Right.
Using a vacuum cleaner.
A modified vacuum cleaner.
Very heavily modified.
Yep.
Called the
Poltergust 3000.
Yes. I love it. I love the play on the name.
Yeah.
So Egad saves him, takes him to his lab, which is right beside the mansion.
Right.
Now, Egad says he's lived there, his whole life?
Yeah.
And the mansion's only been there a few days.
Right. It's just appeared.
So Egad is apparently a professional ghost hunter, but he's well into his twilight years, so to speak. So he can't do the ghost hunting like he used to. So he recruits Luigi to. But another motivator for Luigi is apparently Mario went in the mansion and hasn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mario's missing.
Mario is definitely missing. Which, by the way, we talked about this. This game is like a mixture of Mario is missing, Ghostbusters,
a lot. I picked up on a lot of Ghostbusters, and obviously because of the mansion, Resident Evil.
Yeah, very, very resonating. When he goes to open the door,
He's trembling.
Yeah, he's like shaking as he opens the door. It made me think of the loading screens from Resident Evil.
Right.
So Luigi's going to go back into the mansion with the Poltergeist 3000. Now, to communicate with Luigi, Egad gives him another creation of his.
And this is amazing, by the way.
Yeah. What was it? The Game Boy.
Game Boy Horror.
Yes.
Instead of a Game Boy Color, it's a Game Boy Horror. So it's a device that you use. Does it not have the map basically programmed
the
in?
map's in it.
So you use it for the map, and it's also a communicator. And you had said earlier when we were playing through, like how much you wish you had one of those that just you could call people and play Game Boy games.
Yeah, turn my phone into a Game Boy Horror, please. But and it's got the scanner on it that you can scan.
Right, and that was the other thing too. As you go through the mansion, you've got your regular ghouls that you have to capture, but then you also have all these what they call portrait ghosts.
Yeah.
So a little backstory on the portrait ghost. Egad had captured all these ghosts beforehand, and surprise, surprise, they've all gotten away.
And he talks about someone letting them out, which you haven't found those yet. You'll meet later on in the game.
Right. But all the ghosts have a heart of some sort that you have to find a way for them to show their heart in order to capture them. So basically, you have your flashlight on all the time, and then you push, what is it?
B.
Is it B?
Yeah.
Yeah, because A is Mario. So you're holding B to turn the flashlight off, and you can look straight at the ghost, let go of B so your flashlight comes on, and it kind of shocks them. Well, whenever it shocks them, the heart's shown, and then you can use the poltergeist to suck them up and capture them. Well, on these, what they call portrait ghosts, they're kind of like semi-boss ghosts. They have different ways of this happening. So what you do to find out is you take a scan or a picture with your Game Boy Horror, and it kind of gives you a clue as to how to capture them, how to expose their heart, quote unquote.
Yeah, basically you hear their thoughts, and they talk about something that clues you in as what their weakness is.
Right.
But yeah, you go back into the mansion. The rooms are dark, but as you clear each room, it gets light, which lets you know that it's safe. You're free to search everything and find treasure and cash and money, which I had no idea, or I couldn't remember what it did until the end.
Right.
But something about the mansion itself, this game still looks great.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I noticed too. For a game that was 2001, so I mean you're coming up on 20 years now.
Yeah.
That it still looks very good, very polished. You and I had kind of talked about this is all Nintendo, where the Nintendo games they still play well. They still look very, very good, especially from even the Super Nintendo with the graphics in the 16-bit era, what they were, but they still hold up.
It's because the art direction, the aesthetics that they go for. Instead of the super realistic graphics, because even back then, if you had a game that looked super realistic, 18 years later, it's not.
Right.
But whereas you go for a certain art style, a certain look, not just graphical realism, it's going to hold up.
Well, you got the graphical realism, but then you also you've seen these things where they kind of put a cartoon sketch over it just a little bit. That's kind of what this game is like.
A little cel shading.
Sure. And
well, no, not really cel shading. It's just the art direction.
Right.
Was smart.
Yeah,
it's held up.
Well, I don't want to say that it was built with the future in mind necessarily, but whatever they did, whatever that direction that they took, saying, okay, this is what we want it to look like, it's held up. They've done a dang good job of it.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of detail in the mansion. Like all the rooms look different. It's not like it's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's got all those paintings on the walls, posters,
right?
Shelves and drawers,
mirrors and stuff.
Oh yeah,
you see the mirrors, and it's not the best looking reflection back, but I mean everything moves. Like you can see yourself, you can see yourself move around, all kinds of stuff like that. So,
and I'd forgotten this, but if you use your scanner on the mirror, it teleports you back to the foyer.
Right. So that's kind of the quick travel. There's not really a quick travel mechanism in the game, but that's kind of the only way to quick travel to get, I guess, back to the center part of the mansion.
The main part, because it's easier to reach everywhere, all, 4 areas
Mm-hmm.
from the foyer than anywhere else.
Right.
But you work your way through. You clear rooms, you capture the portrait ghost,
Mm-hmm.
and you find toads
Right.
everywhere. The toad will save for you.
Give you clues, give you items, help you along the way, as Toad has in every other Mario game.
Serving his support role.
And always whining. It's too dark. I don't want to go in there. I'm scared. Will you do it for me? Oh, you're the best.
Oh, Toad. Can't do it without Toad. But you beat you get to the first boss, which was the baby.
Right. So this game's split up into 4 different areas, or
Right.
It's not really stages because everything's kind of its own stage, but it's what they call areas. So the first couple of the first area, you're going to go through and you're going to find the dad, whose actual name strikes me right now. Then you'll find the mom, and then you'll find the baby. Well, once you
Chauncey was
the baby's name. I don't know why I remember that. So once you get around to capturing these 3 ghosts, you'll battle, or the other 2 ghosts, you'll battle Chauncey. And Chauncey's huge, and you're in this baby crib.
Yeah, he shrinks you to the size of the crib.
Right.
The boss battles always kind of warp you to a different dimension.
Right. So after a little while of figuring it out, we finally got Chauncey down. So once you beat Chauncey, that's the end of the first area.
Right. You've cleared it.
EGAD will connect you, will contact you on your Game Boy Horror, and you'll go back to the lab. You'll kind of go through everything that's going on.
Yeah, because each of these portrait ghosts you capture, you take back after you beat a boss, and you put them right back in the portrait.
Right. Which we kind of went away from that on the front side. Once you meet EGAD for the first time, he'll take you to his art room, which is where these portraits would hang.
We never went back.
No, we never did. And I was actually thinking about that. Like, we never went back.
I think we can on that new game, our Hidden Mansion.
Right.
And
it's probably because you haven't recaptured everything. It's probably all.
Well, I don't know, because after you capture that last batch, you go straight to the end game and it rolls over.
Oh, that's
so
true.
Maybe they're there.
I don't know.
Otherwise, you could never see them.
That's a good question.
We can look into it later.
Yeah.
I guess. But after you beat the first boss, you move on to area 2, and you find that secret button, which was clever because the way the camera works, it's a fixed camera. And it's a 3D game, fixed camera, looking from the front of the mansion into whatever room Luigi's in. Now, that does present some problems. It presents some problems that was kind of my first little frustration with this replay, because sometimes you can't tell if the ghost is behind you or in front of you in terms of in the whole 3D scope of things.
Right. Is he to your north? Is he to your west? Is he to your northwest? You have to turn a certain way. Is he above you? Is he below you? You have to kind of get that pointing direction down pat a little bit.
Yeah, well, my big issue was, is he behind you or in front of you? Is he foreground or background?
Right, because he's right on that cusp.
And another thing in the controls is the C stick. The left stick moves Luigi. The C stick will spin him around.
Point the poltergeist.
Yeah, where he's aiming.
Right.
Now, if you're playing and Luigi's looking right at you, right at the camera, and there's a box on the left of Luigi, what you see is your left, your natural inclination is to move the stick left, right?
Right. Or correct.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, he's going to turn left to his left, which is the opposite way.
Right. And go all the way around to get to it.
So you've got to get used to. I never got used to it.
No, you didn't.
And that was frustrating for me. But this room that you get to, this supply room, it was cool because the button is on the wall that you can't see.
Right. Once you have to pull a cloth off and find the mirror.
No, it's already off.
Okay.
And you see the button in the mirror. You press it, it opens the door.
A big trap door, and the wall moves.
Yeah, you pull the poster off the other button, press
That's what I was thinking about.
And here's your plot twist. It was the boos.
Who were captured, but you just let them out. Good job, Luigi.
Yeah, great job.
So EGAD gets a hold of you and says, Luigi, what have you done? We need to capture all these boos. Boo-hoo. And another weird thing, another cool thing about these boos are, there's 30 of them total. 50 of them total, I'm sorry. 30, I think, that you actually have to catch individually, because later in the game you catch a good number of them
35 of them because you catch 15.
15 in the collaboration boo.
Yeah.
So all these boos have different names, and they're all play on boo. The
like
word boo,
Kung Boo, and
Game Boo Advance.
Yeah,
that was my favorite one.
That was a good one.
So
they're all hidden in these rooms. A lot of them where you've already been.
Right. So the other part of the Game Boy Horror is it's a boo detector as well. So when you go into a room, it's got a little light on the top. You've got a green light that says that the room's clear of hidden boos. You've got a yellow light that lets you know that there's a boo in the room, and the light will flicker, faster and make a noise as you get closer to it, and then it's red whenever you're right on top of it.
And it won't even turn on until you've cleared that room of all other ghosts.
Right.
And you got to go through and you got to find the boo. Sometimes it's a trap.
Yeah, you got to have the lights on before it actually.
Sometimes you'll think you found the boo and a bomb will come out.
Right. Or that little boo ball or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's called.
You've got to you got to catch them, and some of them have higher health than others.
Yeah, they usually start off with, I think 30 was the lowest, and then it works its way up to as many as 300.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you progress through the game, it gets a little bit harder.
Well, and herein is my second frustration with the game, is that these boos, as you're trying to catch them, they're trying to run from you. They can go through walls.
Right. They can escape your sucker.
Your poltergeist.
And get to the wall and go to the next room, where the next room is an adjacent room or an adjoining room or a hallway.
And sometimes to get to that other room, you don't just go through a door. Sometimes you have to go
all the way around.
Yeah, you have to go back to the stairs, go down to the lower story, go across the mansion to the other side, go up some other stairs. And then you go into that room where he went. You start to try to capture him again, and he goes right back in the first room.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot.
So before we get into Hammy's frustration, let's move on just a little bit more.
I'll come back to that.
Oh yeah.
I will come back to that.
Later, after you've beaten the first part and you progress into it, you get into the ballroom. And there's a ballroom dancing set of ghosts in there that you have to get. Well, once you get these guys, you start noticing that there's like a fire soul or a fire ghost that's kind of floating around.
No, it's long after that, because they were right before the boos.
Okay, that's right, because they were the boos, and you go into the next room. That's when you release the boos.
Now it's important to note too that you can beat the game without capturing all the boos,
right?
But you're going to get at least 20 of them, because you have to get 5 to advance to the next part,
right?
And you get 15 during one fight, which you have to fight,
right? So I guess the part that I was getting to was the fire element. So
yeah, you meet the fortune teller.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you go down and meet the fortune teller.
And go to the next room there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you start getting these elements.
And it looks like a coin.
Yeah.
But it just gives you the power to use your poltergeist to suck up these different elements and use them as weapons against the ghost and to help with some of these other challenges and stuff. So like the fire emblem, my gosh.
That's what it's called.
Was it the fire? Okay.
Maybe.
I don't remember. Anyway, once you get the fire token, the fire coin, the fire emblem, whatever you want to call it, you have to light some candles sometimes. Sometimes you find ghosts that have frozen hearts that you have to thaw out in order to be able to get them with the poltergeist. So I mean, it's just another element to the game, and another button you got to learn how to use while you're doing your sticks.
Left trigger or left button on GameCube controller. But
you said trigger. I got you now. Okay.
But you move on from that, and you get fire, you get the water, and you get the ice.
Right.
But the next boss was in the graveyard.
Was in the graveyard. Yeah. You had a little bit of problems with the fat guy in the dining room. That ghost. You had a little bit of problems.
I don't know
with
why.
him.
I did years ago. I remember that fight. I've always had problems with him.
Once you get to the dining room, you go to the kitchen, and there's a door on fire. At this point, that's where you get the water element.
Mm-hmm.
You use the water element to put the door out, and then go through the door, and then you're outside of the mansion, kind of in the backyard where the dog is. So when Clint played through it the second time, this is where Clint died. The dog got me. And I said, I'm not playing this game until I get a stinking memory card because I'm not going all the way back through it because that was almost the halfway point. You defeat the dog. Well, you defeat the. You make the dog start barking. The owner comes out. You defeat the owner. You defeat the dog, and then you have to take a picture of the dog in the inside of the dog's house, and you're warped again to this other kind of dimensional place, and it's a graveyard. You go into the graveyard, and that's where the second boss is. And this boss is kind of a shadow boss a little bit. He kind of looks like a Jawa for some reason. That's
a little bit. He was the difficult thing about him was that's where you really had to use the whole 3D space with a fixed camera.
Right. So there's these little shadow monsters that come out that you have to suck up. Once you suck them up, they're like little shadow balls, I guess, and you have to fire them at this Jawa looking thing. And for those of you that don't know what a Jawa is, that's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems with those 3D aspects.
Yeah. It was like you said, it's very hard to aim. It's very hard to turn left, turn right.
Yeah, because your left and right's different from Luigi's a lot of times.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Then what was and you progress, you go through.
Right.
You're getting your other portrait ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a whole lot after that. I remember you finally get to the third floor.
Right.
And let me back up and say this. Your health. This was another frustration of mine because, you're taking damage a lot.
Especially when you have more than one ghoul or ghost on the screen.
And sometimes when I would hit them with a lot, they would immediately disappear and I couldn't attack them. And sometimes it's hard because you're supposed to hit them and you're supposed to pull the C stick in the opposite direction of where they're going.
Right.
And sometimes it just doesn't work. And sometimes it takes a long time. It's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
I know a couple of portrait ghosts, maybe 2 or 3 of them I got in one go.
Right.
But some of them would break free and I have to go through the process again. Mm-hmm. But the hearts, I know the baby's room, the safari room, and then the cellar all had the big 50-point hearts.
Right. And it seemed like there was one more.
I think there was. But how many times did I go back to the baby room?
Gosh.
Because I had to. I was low on health.
Yep.
Hearts are hard to find.
Yeah, the health issue, especially, I don't know how you could make it any better with trying to find heart or trying not to lose health points.
I would, if it was me, if I can go back and, Nintendo asked me for whatever reason. It's like, hey, what can we do? I would say maybe you can spend some of your treasure on like health potions or something you can take around with you to refill your health.
Well, even with that, even if you like say you beat a boo, you get a 10-point heart, or you beat a portrait ghost, you get a 15 or 20-point heart, or just something.
Yeah, because
to kind of look forward. Because there was one time, and I think it was the second boss where you were almost out of it.
Yeah.
I think you were down like 15. It goes from 100 down to 0. When you get to 0, it's game over.
And I made a beeline for the baby room.
Yeah, immediately. Because at that point, I think it's the only one that we knew of.
That, and we talked about how I wish there was a lock-on feature because of that 3D space stuff. If I could lock on to the boss and then shoot him, that would make it so much easier than just manually aiming.
Well, Resident Evil had it. Why can't Luigi's Mansion?
So we get to the third floor for the third boss. That's the Boolossus.
Boolossus. Now, this is a combination of different boos that makes up one big boo.
15 of them. So when you beat this one, you're going to get 15 of your 50. And this was another frustration of mine because to beat him, you remember you had to trick him into running into the statue.
Run into the statue to kind of bust up how many ever's making the big boo.
Right.
And then you had to use the ice power to freeze them. And to begin with, it's really easy. They're just flying around. You just ice them. Once they're iced, you can suck them up. After you get about, I don't know, halfway through, they start running away from it. So if you look at them, kind of like traditional Mario,
right?
You look at them, they kind of run. Well, in traditional Mario, if you look at them, they stay still, like, hey, you can't see me. Well, in this one, if you look at them, they run away. But if you turn away from them, if you face away from them, they start coming back towards you.
And here's my problem, because they attack quickly.
Very. And in groups, too.
And if you turn around and hit left trigger for your ice attack,
it takes a minute for it to power up.
Yeah, it's because the fire and the water were instant. The ice was not, for some reason. I don't know if I was doing something wrong.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just probably the ice itself, just what it does.
But I almost died there.
Yeah, you got pretty close on that. Not as close as you did on that second one. You struggled a little bit on that second boss because of the the openness of it.
Yeah, trying to aim from
Right.
that weird angle,
Right.
and the weird controls.
Hey, and just foreshadowing here, it's going to show its ugly head again in this game.
Oh, it does. But I finally beat Boulos.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after that when you try to go back in the door, because each time you beat a boss, you take them back and you make portraits out of all the portrait ghosts.
Right. When EGAD calls you to come back, you quote unquote empty out the poltergeist, which I had a snivy comment about that too. But where you're not even a quarter into the game when you get to area 1, he's like, okay, well, you got to empty it out. Well, then area 2 is even bigger, and it's like, well, you got to empty it out. Then of course area 3 is a little bit bigger than that.
So wait, I was full at 4 ghosts,
right?
But I'm just fine with 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But after that, is when you get those keys for the special keys to get in the doors with thorns all over them.
Right.
And that's when lightning struck the house
and
made everything dark.
So all your progress where you've beaten all these ghosts and ghouls and the lights have come on, which kind of scares away the ghosts and ghouls from being in that area. Now they're back. And they're back with a vengeance because they're like at least twice as many ghosts.
And here comes another complaint from me. And I don't know if there's a proper term for it. I call it unnecessary animations. Now, whenever a ghost pops up, it spooks Luigi.
Right.
He has a little animation where he's scared, he jumps.
You can't do anything during the
animation.
animation.
And at first it's cute. It's like, oh, that's a pretty cool thing to add. That's a nice little feature.
Yep.
When you're trying to run from half a dozen ghosts
and they're all spooking you,
and you're on low health because you just got done with Boulos, and you're running from them, and a ghost appears and it spooks Luigi, and he stops for a second. He stops long enough for the first ghost to catch up and get a hit on him.
Yep.
It's not cute anymore.
No, it's frustrating.
It's downright infuriating.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how many.
Not as infuriating as it is later.
I mean, it was constantly, I'm trying to get away, and he keeps getting spooked. I'm getting mad. It's like, Luigi, grow a spine.
Right.
Mario's your brother.
They're coming. They're right behind you. Don't
stop.
If you're spooked by the first one, that's fine. I get it. But know he's coming. Don't be spooked by 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. It's like the boos. There's a little animation with them. As soon as you see the boo, it's like it zooms in. Oh, it's a boo. Yeah. Yes, I know. I've been chasing him through 400 rooms.
Just wait.
So you get back. EGAD tells you, hey, there's a portrait ghost that only comes out in all this darkness. You need to try to get him now.
Right.
So now you have to navigate to one of the earlier rooms, but because there's so many ghosts now, it was kind of a chore.
Right.
To get to him. You capture him, and you get to the breaker room so you can flip the lights back on.
Right.
Thank God. Which also, by the course, I think we completely forgot that you're finding items from Mario.
Yeah, we did kind of skip over that. One of the things that you have to do to progress through the game, you got to find, was it 6 different items? Five different items from Mario?
Yeah, his hat, his shoe, his glove, a letter, and a star.
Yeah. So you have to take these items to the fortune teller.
Yeah, the only portrait ghost who helps you.
Right. And then after you've shown her all the stuff and she gives you all the hints that she's got, then you have to capture her. Even though she kind of willingly gives herself up, but yet she fights to get away. It's like, hey, just go into the poltergeist and it won't hurt.
And she's even flinging those shrink mushrooms at you.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to capture these portrait ghosts, they're throwing out pearls and treasures that you can collect. They'll throw out these little reverse mushrooms that, unlike the other Mario games, they shrink you instead of making you grow. And when you're shrunk, you can't
do anything. You got to wait for it to wear off.
So even though she's like, I willingly surrender, she's
still fighting to get out of it. So, yeah, once you come back down, you get the power turned back on. You make your way around, find some extra rooms that you weren't able to get into to begin with. Then you finally make your way, back around to where Mario's being held, the entire game.
Yeah. And you see him. That's when you first get your first glimpse at King Boo.
Right.
Who's got Mario trapped in a painting, just like Mario 64.
Just like Mario 64. That was my thing. So, I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent segue that, you got all these ghosts that were trapped in paintings. Now you're trying to put them back in paintings. Now your brother's been captured and he's on he's trapped in a painting and you're trying to get him out. So a lot of painting references in Mario, it seems like.
By the way, it's raining very hard outside.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Unlike in episode 1 and 2, you won't hear it with this one now.
I put like fake rain over this. But anyway, so we're in the end game now of Luigi's Mansion.
Right.
And like an idiot, I decide, hey, let's 100% it. Let's capture all 50 boos.
All right, this is where it starts getting good. So not only is Hammy already frustrated with the aiming controls and the unnecessary animations and the spook scares.
Having to run to the baby's room all the time for help.
Because that's the only big heart that we know where it's at, guaranteed location right now. Hammy decides we're going to go ahead and 100% it and get all the boos. Well, like I said earlier, as you get through the game a little bit more, the boos health points are more and more. So now you're into boos that have 100, 200, and 300 hit points. And the frustration that Hammy had with the boos going through the walls, it's about to go up tenfold here.
So the breaker room is in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
There are at least 2 boos in there because I think another one that I tried to get ran in there and hid.
Mm-hmm.
I start trying to capture his 300-point boo. It goes left into the hallway. Well, to get to the hallway, I have to leave the breaker room, go into the cellar. Now, the cellar's got these large piles of dirt that you have to vacuum up to get around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as easy as just walking around the cellar to the door. You have to vacuum up all this dirt.
Every time.
Every freaking time.
We're a family-friendly podcast for the most part.
I almost needed a Mario coin. Get to the hallway, and it goes to the whole animation. Oh, it's a boo. Yeah, I know. I know it's a boo. I start to capture it and get 1 point off. It goes right back
where it just came from.
I have to go back to the cellar. The dirt's already back. I have to vacuum up the dirt, go back into the breaker room, get about 10 points off of it. It goes back in the hallway. This repeated at least a dozen times.
This absolutely killed an hour of our 5-hour playthrough.
This
and all I could do was laugh like I am now.
This almost broke me. I was mad. I was about to quit.
Yeah, he's like, just quit. This is stupid.
Because
I love this game back in the day. I'm starting to get to where I hate it now.
I was mad because this happened probably 10 times.
Oh, absolutely. Probably closer to 12. But I mean, this is just one boo because I mean, it happened.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite this bad.
And then there's the armory room that there are like 5 of them in there.
Right.
And I would chase them into the pottery room. They go out to the hall. Run back to the armory room to get out to the hall. It'd go right back into the pottery room. Go back to the armory room, back to the pottery room. It's just
back and forth, back and forth.
And you get to the last room, the last portrait ghost, the last boo. You have to fight like probably 20 ghosts that he keeps bringing out of the paintings.
Yep.
Those last ghosts, I was getting frustrated because I didn't know how to capture them, the bombers.
So they kind of hang from the ceiling. They have 0 health points.
Yeah, they're easy to catch if you can start it up.
So every time he would turn around and flash the light at them, they just disappear.
Yeah, I couldn't get a chance, and it took me forever to figure out. I had to be right under them.
Which that was my biggest complaint when I first picked up the game. I guess it was Tuesday night or Wednesday night, where I picked it up. Even during the tutorial, I was struggling to get the ghost to kind of do that shock surprise to where you can vacuum them in.
Because you got to be right on them.
You got to be right on them. And that's what you finally figured out was you're just not close enough. Well, then not only are you not close enough, these things hang from the ceiling. So you're not just pointing left, straight ahead and all the way around. You got to kind of aim up. So you don't know if you're in front of it or if you're behind it.
And to be safe, because they drop a bomb, you have to let them drop the bomb. It explodes. They laugh. While they're laughing, you have to get under them and flash them.
Right.
And when you're in the hallway fighting those things,
it's
straightforward.
Right.
Sometimes you can't tell because they're so translucent. You can't tell if they're in front of you or behind you. and I was frustrated in that fight.
You almost quit there. You were almost ready to quit with the boo because it was frustrating going all the way around.
Was that the part I dropped? I just set the controller down. It fell, and it chose quit.
Yes.
And if it hit A again, it would have quit the game.
Yeah, and we would have had to go through a good portion of it again.
Yeah. I didn't. I captured the last portrait ghost. That last boo, I was just angry because he kept going in and out of that. He'd go out in the hall and then he'd run back in.
Yeah.
Out in the hall. And half the time he would hit me. So I was losing health faster than he was.
Well, and the thing too is we never really figured out the map system. So when you're looking at the map, the rooms kind of change different colors. You've got, it goes red, yellow, blue, green.
I couldn't figure out what that meant.
So we couldn't exactly figure it. Now, probably a quick Google would have fixed that, but we were trying to do this a little old school.
And at this point, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's well, no, it's not yet. It's approaching about 12:30 at this point, and we've got one ghost to find. So we've probably spent a good 20 minutes. So it's probably midnight. We probably spent a good 20 minutes trying to find one ghost.
It's past my bedtime. But that last bit, it was 300 points. Sometimes when I'd run out to the hall, it'd go through the animation. Oh, it's a boo. Yeah, I know. And I wouldn't even get a chance to tag him. He'd go right back into the art room.
Right back where you were.
And I think I was dead silent that whole time. I was just so angry.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, I hate this game.
Yeah, once you drop the controller.
We'd never picked it.
Well, you picked it.
I know. And I hated myself in that moment.
So yeah, once you finally get the last boo, obviously there's a save point with EGAD. We hightailed it. I guess at this point we went to the safari. No, we went back to the cellar room. There's a big heart in the cellar room.
Yep.
And I think that might have been the one we were missing.
But you got the final key. You're ready for the showdown with Boo. And here's my other complaint. There should have been a toad a lot closer to the boss room.
Right.
Because my first and only death happened in the final boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get to King Boo, where he's got Mario trapped. He decides he's going to trap you too. And he makes the room spin around. The painting of Mario turns into a painting of Bowser. And then you're on the roof with what looks like Bowser, but it's actually like a big
puppet kind of thing.
Yeah, big puppet that King Boo's in. But he's still got Bowser's abilities, breathing fire and throwing those bombs at you.
Right, spike bombs.
And to stop him, you have to dodge the fire.
Mm-hmm.
When he throws the bombs at you, you have to
avoid them.
Yeah, number one, avoid them. And then number two, you have to go to him and grab him with your poltergust so that when he comes at you to try to either breathe fire or suck you up, you can throw it into his mouth and blow his puppet head off.
Yeah, and this is the thing too. This is one of those deals where if you're too close, he's going to run over you or breathe fire on you. But if you're too far away, he's going to jump off screen and he's going to come down on top of you.
Yeah.
And
also when you throw the bomb at him, if you're too close, you'll take damage from the blast.
Right.
Which I think was that what killed me?
That's what killed you.
So, and you don't have a lot of time between when he throws those bombs to when he comes charging at you.
No, and then on top of that, you're still trying to aim too.
You're still trying to figure out left and right to get to it.
Right. There's one time
he throws them off and they don't make it to you.
Yeah.
And so you're just out of luck.
Yeah.
And
but finally, patience persevered.
Yeah, you blow his head off. King Boo comes out. You can start trying to capture
500 points.
500 points. Do some damage to him.
You can get about 100 per.
Yeah, that's about
unless you're Hammy.
Yeah, but the whole time, Bowser's puppet head is floating in the air, shooting ice balls at you.
Yeah, so you're kind of having to go back and forth as you're trying to suck up this Boo.
So it's like, holy crap, give me a break. But we finally beat it. We saved Mario.
Right.
Touching little scene where Luigi's so happy that Mario's safe, he actually sheds a few tears.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a score based on how much treasure you got.
I think it's time. I think it's treasure, but also the treasure, from what I've understood, determines how big your mansion is at the end. So once you've defeated this ghost mansion, the ghost mansion kind of goes away, and then you have your own mansion in its place. And like I said, supposedly how much ever treasure you get, it determines exactly how big that mansion is.
Well, I ended with $84.9 million.
Yeah, and if that's not enough to build a mansion, there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's you know what? I'm gonna build a modest house and retire for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
But I got a B.
Right, we got a B ranking. Apparently, A is the best you can get. We wondered if there was maybe an S ranking, but I think that's Sonic stuff.
Maybe. Well, it's a lot of games have that. I think that the Hidden Mansion gets you a lot more points because
there's more money. The money's worth more as
more
you get
ghosts.
it. There's more ghosts. And that was the thing too. We were trying to figure out exactly what the difference is with the new mansion or the Hidden Mansion versus the original. And the biggest thing that we come away with was the poltergeist is a little more powerful. And the enemies, tend to be a little bit more abundant. So worth a playthrough, possibly.
Well, I did the Hidden Mansion, I know, when I was a kid, but it was 1:30 when we got done.
Yeah, it was 1:30. Hammy was borderline cussing. I say borderline just to keep it PG rated. And
that line was crossed.
Yeah, it was. But I think there was some satisfaction and finally in us beating a game that we reviewed. So that was,
and beating it, now instead of beating it back then.
Right. So, and that's one thing we always do. We do legitimate playthroughs of all of our games. We try to put as much time as possible into it. Obviously, sometimes that time is okay. We played this game for 4 hours. We still got 24 in order to beat it. We're not going to be able to get it done and be able to review it at the same time. But hopefully, we've got some stuff lined up that we can spend more time on games like that coming up. So,
but we beat it. And now we're ready for our review.
Yes.
So
I enjoyed it. I thoroughly did enjoy it. You asked me during the week when I was playing it how I like it. I 110% enjoyed it. Now, again, where I played, I didn't have a memory card, so I didn't get more than halfway into it. 100% reminded me of the Ghostbusters Atari game that come out, and it's just been re-released. So if you like Luigi's Mansion, pick that up, or if you like Ghostbusters, try out Luigi's Mansion. Very, very comparable. Obviously not a horror game necessarily. I mean, it's kind of tongue in cheek, scary.
It's a little dark. I mean, you actually have dead people.
Well, yeah. But I can see the aspects of, again, tongue in cheek of what they pulled. You can tell the Ghostbusters, you can tell the Resident Evil. And what was the other one you had
Mario's
said?
missing.
And the Mario's missing because for whatever, this is my complaint about the game. There's no action button. There's no jumping. There's no spinning. There's no rolling. There's nothing. Luigi does nothing except fast walk.
That's it.
Fast fall. That's all he does. Like
Luigi.
An old person at the mall at 6 a.m.
Luigi,
fast walk.
No wonder you're not the popular brother.
So, some sort of an action button would have made a big difference, I think, like with the jump scare where you're talking about.
Yeah, jump maybe to, roll, do some of the stuff from Mario 64 would be great. Maybe it's because he had a vacuum cleaner in his back. I don't know.
I'm not a doctor. But that was my biggest thing. But I during my playthrough, I really, really did enjoy playing it. And I even told you then, I was like, I really want to play through this game. So that's kind of what set the wheels in motion for us to play through it and beat it.
And, like I told you when I got here earlier, sleeping on it helped. I was frustrated.
Oh, he was, guys, y'all don't understand. And it's funny because it ramped up as we got deeper into the game, his frustration level and his patience, you see these scales as his frustration went up, his patience went down kind of thing. He was ready to just, what did you say at one point? You said, I'm just going to give it like a 1 out of 10. I hate this game now.
And I'm glad, like I said, I slept on it. And I think a lot of it was because of the way we were playing it. We're trying to get through it quickly. We're not sitting back and enjoying it.
Well, we did, especially at the front part. And we did say that. The first half of the game was really enjoyable. But once we kind of like, okay, we got to hurry up. We got to get it done.
Once it got past my bedtime, I was ready to be done.
Right. And during this playthrough, I made you play the entire game because I knew if I ever started playing it, you'd been.
I did. Yeah, I'd been out.
So, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. I don't know 100% if I would venture out of my way to play the sequels. But I think you had said you were going to get Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting
if
it.
you get it, I might play it.
And I actually got messaged earlier this week from Jeremy, aka Roast Beef. And he said he'd never played it, and he was, looking forward to a review of it. And I do recommend it, Jeremy.
Roast Beef, play this game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's fun. It's a fun game.
It's not a game to sit and try to do in 4 or 5 hours.
No, that's probably a little torturous.
At late at night, but it is a very fun game. Like I said, the mansion looks great. It's very detailed. It's got a lot of cool little Easter eggs, a lot of cool little things here and there that just really add to the charm of it. I think it's a classic.
Yeah, and you can see why it sold well. Not just because it was a title, not a title, but the release game with the GameCube. Yeah. And it's got almost a cultish following because people just love Luigi.
And it does have its issues, like I've said.
Ooh, and this is the first game that had the Luigi Death Stare.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Oh, those fake doors. Oh, I forgot about those fake doors. I retract all the good things.
So Hammy, during the gameplay, you could see his frustration level go up, and then he come in and we get ready to record kind of in the pre-show stuff. And he's like, I'm glad I slept on it. I really did enjoy this game, but if I would have given a review that night, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Well, then as we're talking and he's kind of reliving everything, you could see the frustration on his face just come back and start increasing.
You go to these doors, and some doors aren't real. They're fake. I guess it's ghosts. Right. And it just slams on you and does damage.
Right.
And like completely flattens Luigi out. And one time when I had been chasing a stupid Boo through so many rooms, he ran into a room. I went to the door, and it was a fake door. And he lost it. I was not amused, to say the least. But we didn't know this until later, but as you run by the doors, if Luigi kind of stares at it as he goes by, it's a fake door.
Right. Or if you vacuum it.
Yeah, and it doesn't shake.
If you vacuum it and it doesn't shake, then it's a fake door.
So yeah, Luigi gives a little death stare.
Well, let's stop on that real quick too, because it was kind of neat that you can go up, and I said there was no action. I guess there was an action. If you go up to an item and push A, it'll kind of shake it a little bit, try to loosen up whatever might be hidden in there. But for the most part, you vacuum everything. So you kind of vacuum, like we're sitting here looking at the table here in the studio, and we're sitting here, and you can vacuum it, and after a little while, it starts shaking real violently. And if there's any kind of money hidden in it or whatnot, it'll pop out, and you vacuum it all up, and that's how you collect your money. But what all could you vacuum? We vacuumed all kind of tablecloths and stuff up.
Oh yeah,
we vacuumed
bed sheets,
mice. They're all kind of ghost mice, ghost bats. I mean, that's just a fun game. It really is. It takes just a minute to get the controls down. It really does. But once you kind of get them, at least through the first half of the game, it's really fun. And obviously the difficulty starts ramping up just a little bit, but well worth the playthrough, I think.
Yeah, and I would say despite the frustrations, despite the problems, it's worth it.
Yeah, especially right here at Halloween time. If you've got little ones kind of halfway starting to get into gaming.
Oh, they'll have a blast watching it. If there had been kids in here last night and they couldn't hear anything I was saying, they would have loved it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If I had like a muzzle over me, I was mad. I shouldn't have got that mad, but I said, I was sleepy. I was tired. I was full of Mexican food.
Well, I was going to say, after that big meal, it didn't help matters any either.
And I just wanted to go to sleep, and that stupid Boo was not letting me go to sleep.
Because I knew when you said, well, let's just beat the game. No, I got to get the booze. This is going to eat him up. This is going to eat him up if he's this close to 100% and he doesn't get it.
Because I was like 30 or 50. I was like, forget it. I'm just going to beat it.
Yeah.
And then I talked myself out of it.
So, recommend it?
Yeah, I do.
I recommend it, especially seasonally right now.
And I would put it on a retro game night, especially if you have it close to Halloween, just to show people the game. Because it is cool how, like I said, when he goes to open a door for the first time, he's like shaking.
Well, he does it every time. Especially because most of the time when he's reaching for a door, it's a door he hasn't opened yet.
Yeah. And he's sitting there just shaking.
His little gloves sitting there shaking. He goes, we didn't talk about that either. The song, the music.
Yeah. He hums the main theme the whole time.
So there's times when you go into a room and there's music playing. Well, maybe if you go into the next room, the music stops for whatever reason. We couldn't connect the dots of why it stopped, but then you just hear and it's
Luigi nervously
yeah.
humming the theme.
And it's funny too, because as his health diminishes and you get closer, he's still humming, but then you stop moving, he goes, whoo, whoo.
It's funny because they really capture the whole thing of he's trying his best not to freak out because he's terrified.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, I think it kind of adds to his personality a little bit. Now, is he kind of a chicken? Yeah, probably, but
he's dedicated to his brother. He
Sure.
He's wanting to save his brother.
Sure.
Also said the animation, the way he looked, kind of made me think of Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, whenever he did the teeth together, like real scared look or whatever. Yeah, he did. So all right, well, stick around. We'll finish up this episode.
All right, Clint.
So in the spirit of Halloween, we have Halloween-themed questions.
Yes.
From
you and roast beef.
Roast beef. There you go. So I had posed a question earlier of what was your favorite Halloween, or what was the favorite thing that you dressed up as for Halloween, who or what, back in the day. So I posed this question hoping that we get somebody else to say, hey, I did this and it was pretty neat because this. And we got nothing. So
I got our usual answer.
Right. So then I was trying to think back of what I did, and I can't think hardly of anything that I did. I do remember one time I was about the 5th grade, and my intentions were to wear my football uniform, youth football uniform, and just put on a scary mask over the top of it. Well, before Halloween had happened, our season was already over, and they took up the pads and stuff, so I didn't have my pads, so I had to fall back on something. The thing that I fell back on was my sister's cheerleading outfit. So I went as a cheerleader in my sister's cheerleading outfit in 5th grade. Now, I know I'm going to catch some flack for that one, but I do remember that one.
That's a terrifying scene if ever
Exactly.
I've seen one.
Exactly. What about you, Hammy?
Well, as a kid, I didn't really go trick-or-treating a whole lot because I found out very quickly that my parents had better candy than my neighbors. I do remember 3 distinct costumes.
Okay.
First one is probably my favorite. Now, as a kid, we had the Batman animated series.
Oh, what a great show.
And even beyond that, we had the old 60s Batman show, Adam West and Burt Ward.
Holy Batmobile.
Yeah. Now, when I was a kid, I liked Robin better.
Yeah, you were always a Robin guy.
Because he was a kid and I was a kid.
Sure.
I could identify with him. So one Halloween, I wanted to be Robin. Now, we didn't have costumes at Walmart that I remember.
No, they were more generic than what they are now.
Yeah, so you had to make a lot of your costumes. So I got some green shorts, not the short shorts. No, Robin wore cargo shorts, some green cargo shorts. I had a red shirt that I cut the sleeves off and put a green shirt on underneath. So I had the red shirt with the green sleeves. Had some black construction paper. I cut a circle. Some yellow construction paper. I cut an R, glued them all to the shirt. And I did have a mask. And I had a yellow blanket that I tied around my neck. I didn't have the green gloves. So I wore some black gloves. I was a very janky looking Robin. But look, I was like 8 or 9 years old and I made it myself.
So you're like an 8 or 9 year old super Larry the Cable Guy.
Right. Exactly. So, but I was proud of that.
Yeah.
Then one year I was a ghost, just a white sheet, cut the eyes out.
Oh, sure. Simple.
And then one year I was a hobo, which was basically just dressing as I usually do.
Yeah. I remember my sister going as Wednesday Addams when the Addams Family, the original Addams Family movie's coming out. She got one of my dad's old work shirts because, they're usually black anyway, and just straightened her hair and put on a lot of bad makeup. And we went trick-or-treating that year. So, and there was something else that she did. Oh, she did a hobo before too. So that's what reminded me of that. So
a lot of hobos in our neighborhood.
My favorite, not include myself, was probably the year that Maze did the Master Chief when we made that helmet for him and everything.
That was a great costume.
That was because that was completely homemade. Because I wasn't about to spend hundreds of dollars on a Master Chief costume. We got an old bike helmet.
We still got pictures. We need to post some pictures of that.
Well, I've still got the helmet in there.
You post that on Twitter.
Yeah. So we took a bike helmet. We bought a bike helmet, and we took some like foam standing. The standing foam that you put like in a weight room or whatnot.
Yeah.
Cut it up, made a Master Chief helmet out of it, and then I literally called a used sporting goods equipment shop in Minnesota because I didn't know where I could find it. I got some hockey pads, got them shipped in like 2 weeks before, and found like the most obscure green spray paint I could find. And then we spray painted it all green. So he had the elbow, he had the chest protector, he had the pants and everything that went with it. It was good. I really enjoyed it. And and then Alex helped us out by wiring those LED lights in with a little switch, so he could put the switch on and little red lights would come out. And it was cool because he went, and I got some pictures of him that year. He went, and he had this little toy gun and everything. He was just as happy could be. Well, there's this other kid that spent the hundreds of dollars on the actual Master Chief costume, and everybody talked about how much they liked his. But you've got a professionally made costume, but this kid made his. He and his dad made his. It's just, I don't know, the look on his face when we made it. It just.
So they like Maze's better?
I think they like Maze's better just because they could tell he actually made it, or it was homemade.
I mean, seriously, it's like.
And it looked decent too.
How can kids enter a costume contest if they bought it? That's just not right.
I don't get that.
I would say no. You can't do that.
My second favorite would have been the year that he took a big long cylindrical box, painted it green, and we printed off a creeper face from Minecraft and cut out the eyes, and he just walked around with this big box on his
it's a creeper
the whole time, and just being a creeper from Minecraft.
Of
course, he's 11 now, and he's just too cool for Halloween now. I tried to figure out what he wanted to do last year, and he didn't want to do it. And this year, he's like, I don't know if I want to do anything.
So that was your question.
Yep.
We've got some questions from Jeremy, aka Roast Beef,
aka Roast Beef.
Hashtag aka Roast Beef. His questions. His first one is, what are your top 5 favorite Halloween candy to get trick or treating?
Because it was back in the day, I had a neighbor, Miss Betty, that lives ironically across the road from me over here. She made popcorn balls.
Oh man,
dude, those are so good. Nowadays you can't get by with it. I mean, she would probably still make them if we asked for them, but people are so leery about trick or treat candy. But I used to love those things
because you got weirdos doing stuff.
Oh yeah. And candy and caramel apples. I know they're not necessarily real. They're fallish, but they're not real Halloweenish. But I always love those.
Yeah.
And then if you just kind of want to parlay that because of the season, I'm a candy corn guy. I've always loved
candy corn.
It
does not get enough love.
I will make myself sick off of it. I really will. And I know a lot of people are rolling their eyes and they hate candy corn and this, that. I love it. And I can't help it.
Yeah. My birthday was last week.
That's
what my family usually gives me is a bag of candy corn.
Candy corn or pumpkins?
Autumn mix.
Okay.
Which is
I
both.
love them. Yeah.
Candy corn, Indian corn, and the mellow cream pumpkins.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I like the mix. I think I prefer the pumpkins more than I do the candy corn.
And I do like the candy corn and peanut combo. I don't like it when they add like M&Ms to it. It's too much.
I don't like the combo. I know some people are sweet and salty. I just like the candy corn by itself.
Yeah, if I've got a bag of candy corn, I'm not
on. That's 3. If you want to parlay that into like favorite candy bars, I do like a Snickers.
Yeah, Snickers has to be the best.
I like Butterfinger before they changed the recipe. I don't want to get you on a rant. You've already been on enough rant today.
R.I.P. Butterfinger.
So I haven't eaten another one. I do like the little Chico sticks. That's a good one from back in the day. And I like a good Milky Way too, or a Zero Bar, one or the other.
Let me ask you this: what's your least favorite?
Least favorite candy bar? Anything with coconut in it. Almond Joy, absolute worst. I hate them.
Yeah, you just don't like the texture.
I don't like texture of coconut.
What if they had it without the texture?
Chico sticks fried coconut, so I don't know.
Yeah. My favorite, My favorite was Butterfinger, and they took that from me.
Butterfinger BBs.
Oh man. Oh god.
Remember when the Simpsons did that, where they took the Butterfingers and threw them on the fire?
Yeah, they betrayed Butterfinger. I got mad at Simpsons on that.
Well, they threw them in the fire, and then the Butterfingers would fall out of the fire, and
Not
Bart
even-
would say, "Not even the fire wants them."
And I don't understand because it was so good and it's been changed. That's for another day. I got to.
Well, your mom used to make Butterfinger ice cream.
Yeah, it doesn't taste
It
the
doesn't
same.
taste the same. It's like
It's been ruined by some
it's
company that bought the brand and said, "Oh, we're going to change the recipe because this is better." No, it's not.
I love that you're shaking your head back and forth.
The new recipe is trash.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the new
and
recipe.
it tastes like garbage. And
It's supposed to taste more like real peanut butter, and I can get that, but at the same time, if you're doing it to get more people to buy the product, you need a better product.
It tastes like garbage. Is
Yeah.
what it tastes like.
Well, it doesn't taste like it's supposed to.
No, it does not. Maybe it may. I don't know. You know what? Please, company, if for some reason you're
Nestle.
listening to this,
Nestle.
no, Nestle doesn't own it anymore. They sold it.
Well, that's why.
Exactly. Please bring back the old Butterfinger for the
Yeah.
love of God.
Yeah. Hashtag boycott Butterfinger. We're gonna get that started.
Yes, we are. Hashtag boycott.
I'm
Or
gonna
bring back the real Butterfinger.
That's too long of a hashtag, but still.
No, that's not the real Diesel.
I love you for that.
Yeah, Butterfinger. I like all the candy bars.
Yeah.
Milky Way, Three Musketeers.
I like Milky Way more than I like Three Musketeers. Three
I do like
Musketeers is good though.
You ever seen Farmer eat a Three Musketeers?
Does he dismantle it?
He dismantles it.
Yeah.
He eats the outside first,
Yeah.
and then eats the inside.
I used to do that with Snickers though. I would try to bite the chocolate off and then get the nougat that's kind of on the bottom.
Snickers
know.
is awesome though.
Yeah.
My least favorite would be Smarties. It's not,
It's not
that
my go-to. It's not my go-to. I'll eat, some.
It's not that I hate Smarties. I don't necessarily like Smarties.
Right.
And when I went trick or treating, I would get a ton of them. And I would eat maybe 2 rolls and give them to my dad. And
Yeah.
he loves Smarties, so he was like, jackpot. It's like a whole
Yeah,
whole
his
plastic-
standards are low.
a whole plastic pumpkin full of
Yeah.
Smarties. Like, what's wrong with you people?
We used to get the you talk about candy that we didn't like, especially little. You remember the little peanut butter candy that come in the orange and the black wrappers?
Yeah, I do.
I never cared for it when I was little. I used to always give it to my dad. But now as I've gotten older, I kind of like it a little bit better.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, I do like them.
Well, you know the white bars that come in the striped.
Oh yeah, the peanut butter bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh, I've always loved those.
Man,
I've always wondered why you can't find a bigger version of it though. You
Yeah.
can find a bigger Chico stick. You used to get the little small Chico sticks, but the zebra peanut butter bars, I love them. I'm never able to find like a big one.
what about sugar babies?
Love
Sugar
sugar
daddies.
daddies.
They will tear your teeth out of your head, though.
Yeah. I'm not a huge
Fuck.
fan of the sugar daddy because of that, but I love sugar babies.
So I don't need Laffy Taffy anymore.
It just rips the
Hurts.
filling out.
Yeah, I'd rather not have that happen. Love Starburst though.
I could take it or leave it. Same thing with Now and Later. I could
Really?
take it or leave it. I'm not those. Love Skittles. I didn't throw that one out there. I love Skittles more than I love M&Ms.
I've kind of lost on Skittles since they changed green to green apple because I hate green apple stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of green apple stuff.
But-
Even Jolly Ranchers. I prefer not to have the green apple stuff.
Anyway, another question from Roast
Golly.
Beef. What's your favorite Halloween as a kid?
Favorite Halloween as a
Or hold on, let
kid?
me make sure I worded that correctly. Yeah, best Halloween as a kid.
I don't know. I don't really remember a whole lot of them, but I will say I will parlay that to this. I do miss Halloween's as a kid because we don't live in a neighborhood. It's more of a valley.
We live in the country.
But we would go from house to house, and it used to be if the porch light was on, you could stop in and get some candy, whatever. And everybody, it didn't matter if they had kids or not, you could stop by, say trick or treat, get your candy, whatever. It's not like that anymore. Everything's trunk or treat.
That's why I turned our porch light out. More candy for Hammy.
Well, and you're not wrong. But it's not the same. Everything's trunk or treat. where everybody just pulls their car up and
Yeah,
you
well,
look good.
I guess it's the times we live in.
It is, but if you're in a neighborhood, like some of the more metro areas around here that have the neighborhoods, just like outside of Birmingham, maybe some of the Gadsden neighborhoods and stuff, they have it. But
Well, yeah, and one Halloween a few years ago, I was with Justin,
yeah,
and we were going to some dude's house
some random guy, I don't know,
in a suburb type
right?
place around Gadsden,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Halloween, and there were just kids just walking up and down. It's like from a movie. I was like, I didn't have that as a kid.
Yeah, I never.
Kind of wish I had.
Yeah, but I don't like people that much to want neighbors like
Well,
that.
back then I did like people, so life hadn't jaded me yet.
So yeah, like I said, I don't really know of a specific Halloween that was my favorite, but that part of Halloween I do miss.
Oh yeah,
I can't show Maze that now because there's not that.
Yeah.
Now I have always, for the most part, if he's ever dressed up, I've taken him to your house. He'll trick or treat you guys.
Yeah.
Your mom usually has a pretty nice little bag of candy for him.
He's usually our only one that comes.
Right. And same thing like with my uncle that lives over here kind of down from us. He's usually the only one that shows up for that too. Like I'll have my porch light on. I'll have candy if anybody
if he comes
by.
Thursday, he'll get some candy.
Well, there you go.
If there's any left.
So how about you?
Same. I don't really remember. I having a really great Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it as a kid because it's candy. That's what it means to me.
Right.
it was the candy. I'm not a Halloween person, I mean, the scary movies, the horror movies, I don't really care for.
Mm-hmm.
Playing these games was fun. It's that whole thing, but we don't like decorate for Halloween. Some people go all out.
Yeah, some people go way too far out. And I'm like, meh.
I just don't really consider it, I mean,
pagan holidays.
It's it's not something I really celebrate.
No. It's a fun time and
usually by the end of October, I'm after my birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday is my October holiday.
Right. Well, see, and I know
it's hashtag Hammy Day, but by then I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
Right. Same.
I'm starting to get ready for some turkey.
Yeah, I'm past there.
Oh man.
We don't eat turkey pretty much all year just to save up for this turkey.
We're the same.
Yeah.
And I love Thanksgiving is my second favorite holiday.
Well, I can't negate you on that one. I love it. I do love it. But I know the backside of this question also is, what is your favorite holiday as an adult?
Favorite Halloween as an adult?
Halloween. Sorry. My favorite was probably the first couple of years at Maze. Went trick or treating, and just how excited he was for it to dress up and go.
Oh yeah.
Go, to a couple of people's houses, because like I said, we don't do it quite on the same scales we used to back in the day. But just how excited and stuff he was for it. But then as he's gotten a little older, I've enjoyed it. Like, hey, let's you and me make this costume, like the Master Chief costume, and just how great that was to share that. Yeah,
that turned out incredible.
So, just things like that. Mostly, now obviously since I've got a kid, that's where that goes.
Yeah. I don't really have a Halloween since I've been an adult.
All right. Anything else?
Another thing that he kind of sort of asked.
My gosh, where was he at the bonus episode? We needed more questions from him.
Hey, come on, roast beef.
Come on, man. You got to pull your meat and potatoes. I don't know.
I'm getting hungry. He says, since it's Halloween time, what absolutely terrified you as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
He said, for me, my granny had these old 70s/80s style wood panel walls, which if he's talking about who I think it is, that's my aunt,
right?
/ his grandmother in their old house. I remember those. One section of the wall had a pattern in the wood that to my little kid brain looked like a demon. Still gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
So what terrified you? What terrified little Clint?
What terrified little Clint? Well, for a long time, because we're out in the country and you can hear the coyotes. I used to be scared of the dark for a very long time. Not so much now. But one thing, when I was real little, the drain terrified me. I don't know why.
You didn't know where it went.
Well, no, just because, and I tell you what it was. And if my sister happens to listen to this, she can almost probably confirm this. My sister's 1 year younger than I am, so my memory and hers might be a little different because she was younger. I do remember, and she's long passed, but staying at my grandmother's house when I was probably 4, maybe. And she's in there. My sister and I taking a bath together, and she's got the washcloth and everything. Well, at some point, she took the washcloth out of the tub, and I didn't see it. And I thought the stinking washcloth went down the drain, and I was afraid I was going to go down the drain too. If it sucked down the washcloth, it could suck down little Clint. So for a long time, it was that. Then of course the dark, and then I do remember for whatever reason, and it's so cheesy now, but I do remember watching Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And the bad guy in Howard the Duck, where he's got this possessed demon or whatever. That guy scared the crap out of me for years. I don't know why. Like, I'd think about that. It's like, man, that guy was scary. That's like the one thing that always scared me.
Man, mine, when I was a kid, and I was real little, there was some show, some mini series or something came on called Dark Shadows.
I remember Dark Shadows.
And I remember my parents watching that, and I saw a little bit of that. And I was freaking terrified of vampires.
Yeah.
I was convinced they were real. I would sleep with my blanket like wrapped up. Like,
around your neck.
Around my neck, yeah. And in my mind, I was like, well, they can't bite my neck if I've got that.
Right.
But I would have nightmares that like there were vampires in my house. I had a nightmare one time that they killed my sister. And it got bad. Like I was and now, people think of vampires, think of Twilight. It's like, oh, those little whatever.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's just stupid. Back then, dude.
I love how you snuck that in there. That ain't scary. It's just stupid.
Back then, it was different to me. I was terrified.
Well, see, that was one thing that I always made, and maybe that's.
And they're not real.
Thing.
I know they're not real.
Gosh, no.
But little pre-10-year-old Hammy was
right.
convinced that they're real, and they were coming after me.
I totally 100% agree. For whatever reason, and maybe for the best or not for the best, I've always told Maze, if he wanted to watch it, I'd let him watch it, and I'd just tell him on the backside, look, none of this is real. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. And I think I've kind of ruined him on scary movies. He's not scared of scary movies or anything. Now, like, he's spooked pretty easily. Like, I can hide behind a door and him not know I'm there and scare him. But if he's watching a movie, it's just, I know it ain't real. So he's kind of lost that nostalgia, and that's on me. But I started that at a very young age because I wasn't going to be. He was not going to be scared of the bad guy from Howard the Duck like Daddy was. So
my brother's youngest son, he would spend the night with his son when he was real little, and I told him that at night I turned into a bear. So
when you started snoring, he believed it.
Oh gosh, because I snore badly. Apparently, probably need to go to the doctor. But
probably should.
He believed it. He was terrified. The poor little guy. I feel, which now he's like 19. So
and only a handful of people are going to know this. That grate that return that is outside of your bedroom.
Yeah,
the grate. I used to be scared of that for some reason.
Yeah,
because it's most of the time it returns like in a wall, not in the floor.
Oh yeah, my brother fell in that when he was little. Cut his leg up pretty bad.
That does not help my matters any. See, it always hurt my feet too because we were always barefoot in your house. So that always hurt my feet.
Were you ever there when it was on?
No.
It would hurt your feet and it burned.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I always remember it hurt my feet like if I walked across it. And then at one point, I think y'all might have put a rug over it.
Yeah,
like for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a rug over it.
Yeah.
Now.
So, yeah, I used to always be terrified of that thing.
Oh, I hate it. I've said several times we need to just do something with it. But
yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it as far as whenever I was a kid. I don't like heights. I'm not terrified of heights, but I don't like heights now.
Yeah, I don't like them either. Not
a fan of snakes.
I don't like severe weather.
I could take it or leave it.
I have some anxiety when there's severe weather.
Well, and there's a lot of it around here, so probably rightfully so. But I have maybe a little bit more respect for it now, considering that we did get hit by a tornado 2 years ago now, right here where we're at.
Yeah,
with all those trees and everything down, and it was a small tornado whenever that happened. But something happens with heavy rain, lightning, flash flooding, any of that. I just okay.
I don't like it. I mean, if there's lightning, I've kind of got a phobia because I'm afraid it's going to run in because I've got an expensive computer. So I turn it off and unplug it.
Yeah.
Wow. Snakes, I don't like snakes.
I don't like snakes. Like
if I can see the snake and I know, okay, that's a chicken snake, I'm fine. I don't want it.
But I'm not going over there to mess with it.
It's like, okay, buddy, you got your own little world.
Hey, I ain't gonna mess with you. You don't mess with me. We'll be fine.
But if it's, I don't know what it is, or it's venomous,
it did.
I've got to kill it.
Yep.
I have to kill it.
Yep.
Spiders, I don't mind. If again, same thing. If I can look at it and I know, okay, that's just a garden spider. It's the size of my hand.
Right.
But it's just a garden spider. It's going to kill bugs that bite me. So, or if I see a day long legs, I love those things.
Oh yeah, I love those as a kid.
Those are called cellar spiders, by the way.
Really?
Hey, there's video of those things killing like black widows. Cool.
I've always heard that they're like super, super venomous, but their teeth are so small they can't do anything to humans. Yeah. Basically, is what I've always heard. I think Casey actually told me that.
That sounds fake.
Well,
like eggs are bad for you.
This isn't the 80s.
Red M&Ms aren't going to hurt you.
So, yeah, just I tell you one thing I am terrified of as a older gentleman now, and that is Australia, the entire continent.
Everything's venomous.
Everything will kill you. They just found something that they thought was only in around Japan that is a highly venomous coral of some sort. That if you step on it, you're going to die. Which I would fly to Australia, but I would never get off the plane. I'd fly right back, and that would just to be say I've been to Australia. Look, I'm not getting in the water. I'm not getting off the plane. I'm not getting in the desert.
Well, look, if we ever have any listeners from Australia,
tell us what it's like.
I think your country's beautiful.
Oh, I've always had a fascination with it. I've always loved it, but now I've gotten older. I'm like, there is no way.
I think the people are cool. The accents are amazing.
Yeah.
I am never coming to your country.
Nope.
Because I am terrified that something's going to kill me.
Yep. Everything.
I mean, my gosh, the box jellyfish. No.
Great whites. Great white. I think great whites. I think of Australia. I'm done.
Great whites are the least terrifying thing about Australia.
You're probably right. But is it the black mamba from out that way?
No, it's Africa.
Oh, well, they've got snakes.
Oh, yeah, they've got the water snakes, which are the venom's more potent. I don't think they are as deadly per se because there's not as many cases of people being bit. But you know what?
Fascinated by it.
Yeah,
fascinated by it. Everything with Australia. I'm not going. Which, by the way, we got to talk because I think at one point anyway we had talked about going to Ireland, Scotland, doing that whole kind of tour when we turned 40.
You did.
We're getting there, buddy.
We've got some years.
We've got some years. We got to start.
We got 4.
You just said that you're not going to survive if you don't get a CPAP mask, pretty much.
No, I'll be fine. Just sleep on my side. I'll be all right.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. I hope everybody's enjoyed our Halloween theme this year. If you've liked it, let us know. Perhaps we'll do it next year.
If you didn't, then
we're probably still going to do it at least one more year, assuming that we're still around.
We're going to do a little bit.
Well, it may be the treat and ham show or the treat and spam show.
Some weird twist of fate. It's the bologna and roast beef show.
It could happen. So, all right. Well, stay tuned till next week when we.
Oh yes, and one more thing. This is just a little, I guess, on a serious note. If you are, planning on celebrating Halloween, and you've got kids, look out for them.
Yeah. Because be safe,
especially due to recent events here at home. In Birmingham.
Oh yeah.
Watch out for them because it's dangerous world up there.
Well, not just watch out for them, but just watch them in general.
Right?
Don't let them out of your sight.
Day.
Especially right now, man. The world's a screwed up place right now.
It is.
There's a lot of screwed up things going on in this world, and it's sad that we've got to do that. And of all places, I hold Alabama near and dear to my heart because I've always loved this state. I know we've got our own backstory history that we've overcome, but I wouldn't trade.
Still some to overcome.
Well, but I wouldn't trade anything for this state. I wouldn't trade anything for. I love this state. I love everything about this state. And if anybody has anything bad to say about it, I take offense. I really do. I mean, I'm prideful about my state, and for that to happen that close to home, something that bad happen that close to home, my gosh, that's terrible.
So yeah, watch out for them.
Thoughts and prayers, and obviously, but hold them a little tighter, hold them a little closer, and keep a good eye on them come Thursday for Halloween. So this has been a PSA from Hammy's fan.
Be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe, guys. So we appreciate it. We will see you guys next week.